Yeah, Rajat.
Okay, so let me then start the meeting. First of all, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I am Rajat and I will be the SSA for today's meeting. I welcome you all for the 28th meeting of Toastmasters for Professional Club. So use the round of applause for this meeting as we start. So first of all, before starting the meeting, I would like to mention few ground rules we follow in our Toastmaster meeting. As Toastmaster, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics. So please refrain from discussing these topics. Please put yourself on your mute if not speaking. And third ground rule would be please turn off your video if you are shipping out of the meeting. As everyone in their life has a mission to achieve their goals, likewise, our Toastmaster Club also has a mission. The mission is to basically provide a supported and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication, leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With this, I announce this meeting as open. Our Toastmaster of the day for today's meeting, I would like to introduce him. He's a well-accomplished person. He's a mechanical engineer and MBA graduate who has a 35 plus year of corporate experience in India and Middle East. Presently, he is a corporate trainer in a communication and leadership development. He has been an active Toastmaster for past 7 years. Adding more to his accomplishment, he has been past club growth director for District 125 and helped add 18 new clubs in the year. Please help me in welcoming Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Milind.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajat, for a longish introduction. Sorry, I have this introduction kept somewhere in my WhatsApp, and whenever I ask, I just send it in a flourish. So same thing I did today. But thank you very much for getting this meeting started right on time. And this is my first Toastmaster of the Day role in this club. So Mohan and Catherine. So I might, have some loose balls here and there because I have done these roles in a few other clubs, but every club has a little difference, and therefore sometimes. So correct me if I am somewhere making a little mistake or deviating a little from what we normally do in this meeting. So thank you very much once again, and I am the Toastmaster of the day, and it is my pleasure to have on board, welcome our presiding officer, Catherine, to give her opening address. And then, Catherine, after that, you can hand over the stage back to me, and then I will run the meeting. Over to you, Catherine.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Milind. Toastmasters and guests, you are welcome to Toastmasters for Professionals. This is a platform where we help and support one another to become professional and to experience growth as Toastmasters. I'd like to remind us of a few things. To club officers, thank you for the roles that you're taking. Thank you for the hard work that you're putting in. We appreciate all the work. We're learning together, but I believe that I'd like to give a round of applause as Toastmaster Milind is doing to all the club officers for the work that they're doing. Thank you so much. We appreciate your work. We appreciate every effort. Every one of these officers is doing their best. And so I'd like to thank you. I'd like to also remind you that we have our meeting on Friday night, same time that this meeting starts. So please prepare to come to the meeting. And I'll ask you kindly to present small snippets of your results or of what you would like to talk about to our Vice President Education so that when we come to the meeting, we are prepared. I'm reminding our club that we have been invited to participate in club contests by the District 101. And there will be a contest in October 21st. But before that, we need to prepare our contestants. We need to have a contest that will present a contestant to District 101. And we should hold our contests in the next maybe 1 month or two. And I think we have the capacity to do that. So I'll send an email out to all of us so that we can prepare for that. And I would like to encourage each one of us to participate. Contests are great growth opportunities. Do not be afraid to participate. We win, we lose, we grow in every way, in every way. And so I'd also like to remind us to make our payments. Toastmaster Milind was just sharing with some of us that he was able to simply use the enablement that is available to us. If you can go online and enable yourself pay, do it yourself. I am also speaking to myself, Toastmasters. So don't you feel like I'm, condescending on you, but I'm reminding each of us, let's pay up so that we're in time, but also so that we're comfortable as we run to do our business. I take this moment to give back the podium to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Toastmaster Milind.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for reminding us these two important announcements. One, of course, is the fees, and second is the contest. And yes, of course, we are all looking forward to the contest, and I assure you that I will definitely take part. So we're going to have contests in the first half for which all speeches, Catherine? Would it be for humorous?
I apologize. I didn't mention. It is humorous,
Okay.
and table topics speeches.
Wow.
Humorous and table topic speeches.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let me take the meeting further as the Toastmaster of the day. I'm not sure if we have some guests over here today. Because I'm still a little new. Yeah, Vrunda, of course, I would say you are a member guest now. I've been seeing you, so you are, of course, very welcome. And so if you can just unmute yourself and give a brief introduction of how you got to know about our club and what is your intention of coming to the club today, we would be fine. So let's start with Vrunda, and then any other guests, please unmute yourself one by one. Yeah, Vrunda, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Milind. I am very new to Toastmasters. It's probably been less than a month. So I enjoyed it so much that I've been attending various clubs here and there to find out where I belong. Definitely Professionals is a great club, and I'm intending to join this club. And that's the reason I've been a bit hesitant to commit to something, because I see like one of the things that I read on the Toastmasters membership form is that you need to be committed to attending the meetings regularly. So that's the reason I was a bit skeptical, because I'm not sure of my schedule yet. And so, by the way, I am a chartered human resource professional, an ex-banker, and currently I live in Vancouver, Canada. So it's evening out here and it's nice and sunny because we have long days. Our nights happen somewhere around 9:30 now. So I'm enjoying the sunshine, and I can't think about the winter when it's going to get dark at around 3:30. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Vrunda. So you are a true lady, as usual, you are shopping. Yeah, it's not like today I had to buy a pair of shoes. I just went to Target, and then, my daughter had told me, go to this shop, that shop. But I ended up at Target. Within 15 minutes, I finished my shoes. I had my coffee and I came back by taxi. So stop shopping, Vrunda. This is the one-stop shop. You have to be here and only here. And today, during the course of this meeting, I am going to try and bring out some aspects of how Toastmasters benefits. Forget for the next 1.5 hours. Let's forget everything, all our professional responsibilities. Let's consider ourselves as pure, simple human beings. And I'm going to try and share some experiences of mine as to how this activity of Toastmasters has helped me become a better person, a better human being. And I'm also going to ask some of you to give your experiences about it. But is there some other guest? Eunice, am I pronouncing your name right? And are you a guest here, Eunice? Yeah, you're muted, I think.
With Toastmaster. I heard about the Toastmaster from a friend in Beijing, and I just moved to San Jose, and she said that, oh, you may have to, you might want to join Toastmasters so that you can get to know more people in San Jose. But I have just learned that the Toastmaster is online, so it's not person. And I totally agree with you when you say that just be a person. So I'm very happy to be part of you.
Thank you. Thank you. And am I pronouncing your name, or could you help me pronounce your name?
Eunice.
Eunice. Sweet and simple. Thank you. So who else?
Yes,
Excuse my
John
ignorance.
is a guest.
Hey, hi, John. So go ahead and tell us.
Yeah. This is my second meeting. I'm calling in from Baku, Azerbaijan. I work overseas and schedule. I'm going to be working in Saudi Arabia, which is about an hour behind. So it'll be an early morning one, but it works out nice during the week for me. And I'll be honest, most all the Toastmasters Club are really what I'm looking for as far as the group of people. I think we all have a common goal. There's a lot of diversity in our background, but the camaraderie and the collaboration that I see within these clubs is really impressive. So I think I'm going to keep attending, and I'd like to join this one.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing everybody again. But I'm back, guys.
Yeah, thanks, John. So Shihas is the person to contact about how to get yourself. When you have to first time when you join the club, there are some procedures which are a little different in terms of paying your fees. So I'm sure Shihas is going to help you with that. And who else is Subhadra a guest, or she's come after a long time and therefore I am meeting her for the first time? Subhadra.
Good morning. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. My name, as you know, is Subhadra. I am from Coastline Toastmasters, which is located in District 98 in Visakhapatnam, southern part of India. Andhra Pradesh is the place. I've been a Toastmaster for quite some time, and I have done some of the important leadership roles in Toastmasters. I just came across this particular club in a WhatsApp group known as World Toastmasters. So I just, out of curiosity, I thought, let me attend and see how it goes. I'm very happy to be here. It's early morning over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Subhadra. But Subhadra, is your district 98? I don't think so.
Sorry, it was 98. Now it is 126. My apologies.
Correct, because even I was a part of 98 and now I'm 125. So therefore I know the geography of 98 quite well now.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I mean, we all have fond memories of 98 also. Okay, so I think, is that all? Or Ritu is already a member, right? Ritu and Yen. Already members, Yen and Ritu? Mohan?
I'm already a member.
Okay. So let's move on and get going. So as I said, for the next 1.5 hours, let's forget that we are professional. Just let's think about us as human beings, and let us think about how this activity of Toastmasters helps us becoming a better person, a better human being. I myself have been a Toastmaster, like Rajat just now mentioned while introducing, for about 6 to 7 years. And I can tell you, Rajat and all of you, that I have seen a definite difference in myself. One of the important things, there are a few things which I would like to tell, and then maybe the remaining you all can also mention. One of the things which I have learned as a human being in the last 6 years is about adding value. I think at Toastmasters, when you start becoming a member, when you start taking this executive committee roles, when you start taking some district officer roles, and as Rajat mentioned that I just finished my role as a club group director, you get opportunities to add so much value to your members, to the clubs. And so sometimes when I go to the club, And when I see suddenly somebody coming and saying, "Hi, Milind, how are you?" And then I frankly, I'm not recognizing that person, but he or she says that, "Look, 1.5 years back, I was new and I just joined the club, and now, and then when I see that person be talking so very well, as maybe as a contest chair or maybe as a contestant and things like that, you realize that how much value you've been able to add to this person by that little act which I have probably had done of referring that person to some club or some area director or something like that. And then when you see that that person over the next 1 year or so has blossomed so very well and added so much of a value, you feel so nice. As a human being, we always, it's our inherent nature to help people. And Toastmasters, according to me, gives us a great opportunity to help people becoming a better version of themselves. And this is one of the very important factors which I felt that as a human being, that from Toastmasters we learn to gain. So like that, I'm going to give you a few more points, but let me, before I do that, explain the brief, the structure of this meeting. So the structure of this meeting is going to be in 3 parts. We're going to have a prepared speech and by a speaker today, and then in the second half we are going to have some impromptu speeches or attempts of learning how to speak impromptu, and then in the third half we're going to have an evaluation of the prepared speech. So it's a very simple structure, nothing very great about it. So let's straight away deep dive into the prepared speeches. But before that, to conduct a meeting like this, you always require collaborators, right? You require people with whom you can collaborate and make sure that the meeting is running nicely and properly. So for that, I have got a team. So the first gentleman is our timer. So James, are you there? And yeah, I think so. James is our timer. And he is going to tell us about how are you going to tell, what you're going to do today, James? Can you please explain?
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. I am the timer, and I will be keeping track of everyone's times. Timing is an important part of speaking, as a well-timed speech is much more likely to grab the attention of people. If you see this green background, then it means that you have finished your required speaking time. If you see this yellow background, then it means that your time is about to be over. If you see this red background, it means that your time is over. You don't have to stop speaking, but start finishing up your points and wrapping up. At the end of the meeting, I will let everyone know what their time was. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And those of you who do not know what James does, James is a freelancer in the field of communications, I suppose. And when I asked him that how did Toastmasters help him, he gave a very nice and very simple answer. He says that communication with clients is extremely important, and Toastmaster helps me better understand how to communicate with my clients in a fluent and friendly way. And that brings me a little to the word communication. At Toastmasters, we obviously learn communication skills. But what are communication skills? Communication skills, many times we feel, are the ability to speak. But is that all? According to me, communication consists of 3 things. Communication, of course, is speaking. But more importantly, communication is listening, attentively listening, actively listening, listening in order to respond. And thirdly is the ability to give feedback and receive feedback. I think that these 3 things together complete the virtuous circle of communication. And like what James has very rightly said, at Toastmasters, we of course learn to speak, but more importantly, we learn to listen. And thirdly, we learn to give feedback and we learn to receive feedback. And when we say give feedback, we're talking of constructive feedback. And sometimes, therefore, I don't use the word feedback. I use the word feed forward, so that you get some things whereby you are able to go forward and do things better when you do the same thing again. So thank you very much, James. And next we have another person who's doing a double role today. He is our Vice President Education, who's going to be playing the role of a counter cum grammarian. So Mohan, can you explain your role in the meantime?
Sure. Thanks for the opportunity, Toastmaster Milind. I'm Toastmaster Mohan Teneti. Today I'm playing dual role. One is accounter, the other one is grammarian. Accounter, for the people who are new to Toastmasters, maybe this sounds new to you. Accounter is basically, there are certain words like, okay, or pauses. These are, or let it go, or kind of, or what have you. So these are certain words. We use it regularly in our speech without having any conscious attempt to minimize them. Those small filler words are the crutch words. They're different from person to person. Those are actually spoiling our speech when evaluated from a finest public speaker lens. Today, I am going to track them. My intent is not to highlight all your mistakes, but I would like to identify what top 1 or 2 areas where you are going wrong and give some recommendations for you. That's how I am going to add value to you today. Second thing is grammarian. Coming to grammarian, there could be certain usages which we feel like, hey, I'm already talking right. But when you really look at more from a bookish perspective, maybe they are a bit wrong. So I'm not going to do a kind of, highlight a very small thing, but 1 or 2 top things and just give some recommendation. My focus is on making sure that I identify the top few things where we can make improvements and give some recommendations to you. So that is my job for today. You will see my report in the end. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. And are you going to tell us your word of the day?
Sorry, yeah, a good one. Word of the day is collaborate. I have posted it here. Collaborate. This is something I like it very much. I strongly believe in collaboration. One person cannot do any dream work. It's a teamwork that makes dream work. I strongly believe in that. I'm a good collaborator personally. I would encourage people to collaborate. Collaboration is a process of working with others to accomplish shared goals. So one-on-one goals, many people are comfortable in doing them. When you have to achieve shared goals, definitely have to collaborate. Examples, 2 writers can collaborate on the same script for a film. Or a German company can collaborate with a Swiss company to develop a product. I would encourage all of you to use this word of the day wherever possible in your speeches. I request all the participants to show them a thumbs up as a sign of encouragement whenever somebody uses this word.
Thank you. And Mohan is a very modest person. He is, I would say, although Catherine is our presiding officer, Mohan is our backbone of our club for the next 5.5, 6 months. He is the vice president education. And Toastmasters is basically a platform of educating yourself. And that's the reason why, Toastmasters has got a wonderful designation, that vice president education. And the VP education plays an extremely important role. He collaborates with all the members, make sure that the members' needs and requirements are fulfilled. And at the same time, he also makes sure that the club starts achieving its education goals. And I think last time itself, we took a vow that we will try and get all our 6 education goals by December. And so, Mohan, thank you very much. Mohan is a tech savvy. He's an IT professional for more than 17 years. And I think a couple of meetings back, Mohan was the Toastmaster of the day, and he showed us his data analysis prowess, right? He showed us various aspects of our club as to what is the demography and how many years old and all those things. And it's wonderful to have an analytical and a tech-savvy person like Mohan as a VP education. And I'm sure Catherine is feeling that much more relieved to have somebody like this in her team. So thank you very much, Mohan, for all you're doing. And I think with this, we've got the timer, we've got the accounter, we've got the grammarian in place. And now we have to start with our meeting. And let's start with our meeting. And what better way to start this meeting with a prepared speech by none other than our presiding officer. I didn't know much about Catherine, and so yesterday I just sent her a message, and what she has written is astounding. I read it out to my wife and daughter also, Catherine, of what you are doing. Catherine is a passionate leader who works and advocates for the empowerment of girls and women in Uganda. Catherine lives in Malaysia. She has helped her, Toastmasters has helped her to influence all those in her circle of opportunity by clarity, confidence, etiquettes, and the demeanor and the enthusiasm which Toastmaster imparts us. So these are the wonderful, wonderful qualities which are very important as a person. And Toastmasters gives us that opportunity to, to learn, to practice. This is like a laboratory. Whatever happens over here, Vrinda, stays in this room. So we come here, we learn, we make mistakes. Somebody gives us a feedback, we improvise on that, so that tomorrow, when we go out in the outside world, we would make that much more lesser mistakes. So we have Catherine today giving us her speech, and I have not been able to remember. So Catherine, I would request you yourself to give the title of your speech. I know it's a level 4 speech. Oh yeah, okay. Suzanne is the evaluator. So I think Suzanne, you're going to tell us. Okay, over to you, Suzanne.
By all means, it gives me great
Thank you.
pleasure to let you know that Catherine is working from the innovative planning path in Pathways. She is working on a level 4 project. This project is managing projects successfully. This is her first speech. The timing is 2 to 3 minutes, and the title of her speech is Juggling Through Pressure. Please help me welcome Catherine.
Toastmasters and guests, I request for your pardon that I will give this speech while sitting. I injured my back a little, so I'm going to sit during this speech. I hope that's okay. 2019, I had 6 months to create a movement across the country. With a few friends, 3 of them, we took on several roles. One took on strategy, I took on programming, and the other took on publicity and media. The only thing that I knew besides the 6 a.m. meetings over 7 weeks was that I had a team and I had an organization that I could work with. I went back to my organization and I asked my staff to volunteer. With this movement, I had no option but to start writing strategic letters to the country officers in the city, country officers in the countries, in the continent, and I ended up at the United Nations headquarters in Nairobi. That's where I started presenting my dream. I pitched through letters, and these letters opened the door for me to meet the country director in Uganda for one of the major UN organizations. I was privileged, but the work had just begun when he accepted our pitch. So we ran back to the drawing board. And with the team, we were able to carry out a research in depth with the ministries of gender. These individuals, professionals, were from the civil society circles. They went deeply to identify, recognize, and celebrate individuals, families, brands, and organizations that have worked tirelessly for the last 20 years to empower girls and young women. It culminated into such a great event called the Girl Child Awards, first ever in the country. It was successful and we thought the work was done. No, it was not. We were aiming for a movement. What did this movement do? It brought together over 7,000 people in one room to recognize these people from more than 7 spheres of influence. I was at the helm of this, but I was exhausted. Juggling through pressure, I recognized that now brands, banks, all private sector have opened up product lines with the girl child. They have opened up bank accounts, they open up donation boxes, they provide sanitary pads for girls in the streets, They provide lots and lots of funding, private sector allocates. And before I knew it, I recognized that as a Toastmaster, I've learned to pitch, I've learned to work and collaborate with others, I've learned to go with courage, and I've learned to juggle through pressure. The girl child movement is still running because now the boy she relates with is not yet empowered. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine, for a wonderful, I mean, in this 3 minutes, you were able to squeeze in so much of a content and give us a wonderful idea about the project which you are doing. And yes, thank you very much. Innovative planning was a path which even I completed and pursued. And I know the importance of this speech. And I think probably there is another speech you will give after a few days, right? That is how the project gets completed, right? All right. Thank you. Thank you. And, very nicely you told about the various ways in which Toastmasters has benefited you in doing all these things. I mean, there is a phrase which I have used last year, Susan, that Toastmasters is a ladder to professional success. As we need to be, and same thing as a person also. I think the moment we are able to see this connection between what we do at Toastmasters, how it helps us in our professional life as well as in our personal life, I think that motivation to come for the meeting, Vrunda, you were saying that you are not very sure whether you will be able to come for the meeting and all that. Believe you me, as you start becoming a member, you will automatically start managing your time so very well that you will be there on your desk sharp at 6:50, 15 minutes before this meeting, because you will start getting that energy. You will start getting that those vibes. You'll start getting those various attributes. You would start finding that you are improving yourself one over and again and again and again. That's why I said Toastmasters is not just for our professional success, but it is a lot contributing towards how we shape ourselves to become a better and better human being. So thank you very much, Catherine. And with this, we are done with our prepared speech. And we are now going to get into one of the exciting times in a Toastmasters meeting of table topics. And for that, we have none other than Dimarish, who is going to run a table topic marathon, is what the agenda says. And a little introduction about Dimarish. She is an area director of Area D3 of District 57, a two-time Triple Crown winner. Triple Crown winner means you have completed 3 levels in a year. Is that right, Dimari? That's how you get a Triple Crown, right? And she is a published author, a mental health professional, international motivation speaker, and a certified domestic violence facilitator, founder and CEO of Victory Over Violence, where she advocates for victims of domestic violence. And how has Toastmasters helped you, Dimari? Toastmasters have helped me to identify the platform of domestic violence and has enabled me to use my voice to make a difference. Thank you very much, Dimari. We are waiting to listen to your voice as a table topic master. Over to you.
So hello, everyone. I'm going to be asking questions that are in keeping with today's theme, which is Toastmasters, a way of becoming a better person. And we know at Toastmasters that it offers a collaboration between speaking, listening, and leadership. So the questions that I will ask will be coming from quotes by famous individuals, and I will tell you who that person is and then offer the quote and ask you to respond in a way that this quote would make you a better person. Mm-hmm. The word of the day, remember, is collaborate or collaboration. The first question comes from Deepak Chopra, and it is, the past is gone, the future is not here. Now I am free of both. Do I have a taker, a volunteer, or do I need to volunteer? Thank you, John.
Thank you, Demir. I didn't want to leave you hanging. That was a long silence. Yeah, I believe that's a very accurate statement as far as helping you become a better person, to free yourself of both the past and the future and live in the present. My tendency is to reflect on things that have happened, and I have a critical side to myself, so I beat myself up sometimes. And that's the part about living in the past that prevents me from really growing personally and expanding my views on the world and professionally. So removing those types of thoughts about things that happen and how they didn't happen as I expected allows me to focus on what I need to do for the day. And a lot of times the future is how I plan my daily events, but how I execute them and how I focus on them is really in the present and the here and now. And when I have the ability to focus, I feel that I'm more enabled to do things as I'd like, to work with other people, collaborate with colleagues, and not worry about the outcomes, but what I can do to make that effort effective. Thank you for the question, Demary. Back to you.
So we're going to sign John up and look forward to his icebreaker speech. My next question comes from Helen Keller, and the question or her quote states, "Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement." Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. How would that help you to become a better person? Do I have a volunteer? Okay, Rajat. And how do you pronounce your name?
Rajat. Yes, Rajat.
Rajat. Very good.
Yes. What happens when we get the success? We all feel delighted. We all want to think that we just want a word and we want to move forward with the spirit. But I want to remember all the time when we fail. What happens when we fail? We feel down. We feel that we are at the lowest. We feel that nothing is going to go ever in our favor. And we feel that we did everything right. But I think we feel that we are not meant for that. And that took us to the despair. And and that creates a vicious circuit where we start making wrong decisions and we continuously dig ourselves to that cycle of failure. But what happens? But what happens when we see failure as a stepping stone, that success what we all want? So in that case, optimism plays a very important role, because when we see the hope, when we see a ray of light in a dark world, we feel that we can get out of that darkness. Optimism plays us a role of guide that makes us feel that we can get out of this darkness and we can get out of the situation, we can get out of the failure we are currently experiencing. So for me, I think optimism is something that has personally been very important for me after getting failure one or after another many times in some of my competitive exam, and sometimes it's my professional experience as well when I was adjusting to different culture and all the different corporate work. So all the time when I was feeling down, I was thinking that I am continuously failing. Optimism that I will succeed once is the only thing that helped me getting out of that darkness and reach and over to you, Demir.
Thank you so much for that response. The next quote comes from Nelson Mandela. And he said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it will kill your enemy." Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping that it will kill your enemy. Do I have a volunteer? So, Catherine.
Yes, can I? Thank you.
Thank you.
It is only one who fails to go past an offense that has failed to rule their spirit. Because when you're resentful, then you assume that the offender will feel your pain or your message. They don't. They don't, they won't. It's useless. So from a man who was able to withstand 27 years of torture, of pain, of isolation, and of injustice, he comes out and he says, I forgive. There's no better person to give us lessons on releasing pain. Mandela probably died a free man. Will you choose today to be free from offense? Will you choose to let go of anything and everything that has caused you harm? Will you choose not to take that poison because your offender will not die? Back to you, Table Topics Master.
My God. That was excellent, Catherine. Thank you so much for that response. The next quote comes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Do I have a volunteer? Rhonda, thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster D. Marie. I truly believe that, hate cannot bring out hate, and similarly, love can do the magic. And here's why. And I'm going to quote some simple examples from daily life. For example, if you see somebody getting angry, what's your immediate response? It's a tried and tested response when somebody is trying to stay calm when the other person is angry. The natural response is anger. When somebody raises a voice, the other party raises their voice even higher. And similarly, if somebody smiles at you, you smile back. When somebody is nice to you, you want to return that nicety, that kindness to you. So, and similarly, if somebody collaborates with a positive mindset, you want to collaborate and bring positive vibes to that particular task that you're doing. So I truly believe that, if you are treating somebody with hatred, even if you are having a disguise of pleasant niceties, they will know, they will feel the energy which is of hate. So somewhere I strongly believe that, it's a reflection, it's a mirror of whatever emotions you project. So if you project hate, you will get that back to you. It's like you will get same to you. You know how we say same to you? So instead of saying that, just project love and you will get love back. And thank you, and back to you.
Thank you so much for that response. The next question or quote comes from Helen Keller. And it says, nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Do I have a volunteer? Pramod.
Madam President, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow and future Toastmasters, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Hope and confidence. I would say if you really want to live in this world, present world, these two things are very essential. Without hope, you cannot even spend a day. And without confidence, you cannot even speak in front of people, or even confidence is something which will force you to explore the hidden talents within you. If you don't have confidence, even the greatest skilled person in this world is of no use to the world. And what is hope? hope is something when you try something with your confidence and you fail multiple times, but hope is the one thing which will prompt you to try again and again and win. So these things are not contradictory, these are complementary. Without hope, confidence of no value. Even if you have confidence to write an examination, for example, in India, the highest examination, I would say it's civil service. Many people, they pass the examination on the fourth chance. With the confidence, they approach the examination. First time they fail, second time they fail, and third time they fail. So, but if they don't have the hope, they would not have succeeded in their fourth chance. Why? Because the confidence needed to be supported by hope. In our daily life also, whatever we do, even if you have the highest amount of confidence in you to approach a subject, without hope, you can't succeed in your life. We are all here with the hope that tomorrow we would be much more improved. Today I am X, tomorrow I'll be 2X. That is the hope that is keeping us here. That is the reason why we are collaborating with Toastmasters, why we are collaborating with people around the world for a better tomorrow. So hope is something, you read Bible, Gita, Quran, everything. The one thing which is stated multiple times in all the spiritual scriptures is nothing but hope and confidence. And let me combine it with one of the previous topics, that without love, this hope and confidence has no value at all. So these are the golden triangle of a successful life. And back to you, Dimeri. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that excellent response. Our next question comes from Deepak Chopra, and he quotes, "You must find the place inside yourself where nothing is impossible." You must find the place inside yourself where nothing is impossible. Do I have a volunteer? Mohan, yes.
We need to find a place within ourselves to know that nothing is impossible. Table topics is in Toastmasters is something is always scary for me. That's why I would always prefer to become a table topics master. Particularly when there is a table topics marathon, I'm at a loss. I can say no loss of words and ideas. After hearing to great speakers, like the way Catherine is speaking, or the Pramod just explained ideas. John I think he's a newcomer, but still he's meticulous. And Runda has nailed the topics. So listening to all these table topics, the way they're articulating real-time ideas, I really feel that, is it the right place for me? I mean, I get some kind of an imposter syndrome after listening to great table topics. Prepared speeches, I understand, that's my forte. But when it comes to table topics, the way people are articulating their ideas, I really find, I am now trying to find out some space within myself that I can do it. This is a place where I should feel motivated, learn from others, collaborate with others, and find some place and confidence in me to master these table topics at one point of time. Thank you, Roti.
Thank you for that excellent response. The collaboration of everybody's voices, their mental telepathy, and their mindsets is causing table topics to just be excellent. And I have a table topic question or quote for Dr. Mary, if she will answer, please. Make a career of humanity. Make a career of humanity. Dr. Mary.
Thank you, Table Topic Master Dimeri. I have an app and I have a website, and it's called Humanity for Love. Very appropriately, love is always the topic that's on my mind. I'm always speaking, thinking, collaborating, working on the theme of love. Love encompasses a lot of things. If you go deep into it, you will understand it encompasses kindness, compassion, humaneness, understanding, respect. We always think that it's easy to say, I love you to someone. And now I'm not talking about humanity love. I'm talking about a romantic association. But do we understand what that actually means? Or are we just saying it to please the other person? Or are we just saying it so that that person will reply the same thing to you? And when they don't, you create a problem out of that? The whole world thrives on love. But unfortunately, that is not what is happening. If you understand the theories of love from a spiritual point of view, the opposite of love is fear. As long as you live in fear, you are not living in love. If you can try to analyze and understand this, you would reach a different level of dealing with humanity. You're not going to get upset. You're not going to get angry, resentment, as we spoke about, just like Nelson Mandela. How do you think he could have just forgiven the people who gave him that life? He even forgave his wife who left him. Think about that. You are there enclosed in that space, solitary confinement, and you think you've got a family when you come back, but they were not there. But here was a man, I'm going to go to that direction, who knew that what life was all about. And it's all about love. I will repeat this over and over again because that is my calling. Love. Love makes the world go round. Love brings forth humaneness, humanity. And we all thrive on love. If anyone can say they don't need it, they're not telling the truth. Love for humanity. Back to you. Table topic master.
Thank you for that response, Dr. Mary. And I failed to tell you that that was a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. How are we on time, Mr. Timer? Can we do one or two more questions?
Yeah, I think
one we can do. One.
Yeah, you can do it, Mary.
Okay. So this next quote is from Nelson Mandela. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to triumph over it. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to triumph over it. Do I have a raised hand? Eunice, can you respond? Oh, I'm sorry, Isabel, yes. She unmuted and I think something is happening to her system.
I think
Jean
Susan
Marie,
is there.
no, I would just like to let you know Isabel just joined us, so she may not have the context of what's going on in
Okay, that's great.
But Eunice is on board.
Is Isabel share? Is Isabel ready to say something or me?
Go ahead, Eunice.
Oh, I mean, courage. I mean, I don't think we can escape or we can. I don't think that we will have. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, let me see how do I put it. Like, there's always fear, no matter where you are. You know, there are always different levels of fear. So if we want to wait until there's no fear, then we will get nothing done. So I would say that the courage, when you have a fear, when there's some, when the situation that making you fearful, the true courage is just do it and just face it and just try it. As just like I think it's and Miss, I don't know who is saying today that we can always learn from failures. We can try it, and then maybe it's not successful. That's fine. We learn something. No, we even learn something from our failure. So courage, just do it. Just no matter what, don't be fearful. Because there's always fearful. And then there are some things that always some situation making us fearful. It's just a matter of different degree. Thank you.
Thank you for that response, Eunice.
Thanks.
I have one final question, if I have time for that.
Ritu has raised her hand. Ritu.
So the final question relates to the fact that we have been engaged in a table topics marathon. We have been engaged in a table topics marathon. And a marathon is described as long-lasting or difficult task of a specified kind. How do you think this marathon has helped you to become a better person? How do you think this marathon has helped you to become a better person? Do we have a volunteer?
I think Ritu, she did not speak. Do you want to give it an attempt, Ritu? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I was kind of trying to pick a topic, but all the topics looked like very difficult to speak on. Like I kept like stepping back, raising my hand and raising it down. So yeah, so this table topics marathon was really like I would say nerve-wracking for me, because if I was in place of anyone else here, I think I could not speak a word. So it was like I would say like a very exciting experience. Like it was, I mean, today I feel like I have really like I realized like what I'm lacking in me. Like it brought out the deficiencies in me, which I feel like I don't know how I can catch up with. So much to learn here, and hopefully this is going to be an eye opener for me, where I can like take it as a challenge for me, and like these are the things where I have to work upon, and maybe like be a better version of me by like, I don't know how to go there, but definitely I know like you all are here to guide me and take me to the place where you all are there, where I can be a similar kind of a speaker, maybe somewhat close to all of you. So hopefully, I mean, this is something today. Today's session was really a great one, and I hope to collaborate with all of you and be someone like you one day.
Thank you so much for that response. And we can see that you're already on your way. You have enthusiasm wrapped up, okay? You have enthusiasm wrapped up. I wanted to say thank you to everyone that participated in the marathon, because the collaboration of all of our voices and our thoughts and our determination to be a better person was so evident in every response. Thank you so much. And I pass the mic back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you. I think DeMary deserves another huge round of applause. You know why? Because the kind of a preparation, DeMary, that you have put in this role that you did, and I think I gave you the topic of the day. I think I gave you about 5 hours back, because I am not seeing my WhatsApp so regularly, and about 5 hours back I sent you that thing, that this is my topic, and within this, for next 4 to 5 hours, you put in so much of a hard work and thought through the entire theme, and actually you have helped me so much, because almost all the points which I wanted to talk, have been covered so very nicely. And that really...
I want to thank Dr. Mary, because she reached out to me and wanted to know if she could help with me getting organized or whatever. So I want to, that's another example of how we are as Toastmasters.
Absolutely.
We are there to help in any way that we can. So I really want to acknowledge her. And that last question.
This is collaboration in real action, and I think we all are in different time zones, and despite that we are collaborating so well and making this meeting such a successful one, such an enriching one, that really goes to show the intensity with which we all come for this meeting. And so I think Timer, do we have to check with you as to whether are all qualified or something like that, or Do we do any voting? No, we don't do any voting. So I think all of
yeah, we don't have any voting.
okay. So I think we all and I was watching the timer, and I think we all definitely crossed that 1 minute limit, and some of us went very close to past 3 minutes. So I think a very enriching experience, Dimari. And so now let me just quickly touch upon my theme again. And like Dimari, through her various questions, brought out various aspects of how you become a better human being. First and foremost, like Ritu, you again and again mentioned, you learn so much in Toastmasters. In this 1.5 hours that we spend over here, irrespective of what our profession is. I know Dr. Mary Thomas, she is a doctor, and Rajat is in the oil business and things like that. But here in this 1.5 hours today, thanks to Dimari, we learned some wonderful quotes. Deepak Chopra, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela. And this is what happens over here, that in this short time you learn. And I am reminded of a very nice quote of Alvin Toffler. He says that illiterate of the 21st century are the ones who do not have the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. I think over here, every time we come, we learn something, we unlearn something, and we relearn something. And that is how we start becoming a better version of ourselves. That is how we start having our self-improvements. Another thing which I have fit for by joining Toastmasters, some of you may know and some of you may not know that I spent almost 25 years in a foreign country. I was in the Middle East, and after 25 years, I came back to India. And when I came back to India, I was lost because all my friends had disappeared, or rather, I had lost contact with them. When I live in a city called Pune in India, and when I came back in 2018, February, I still remember, I knew only 2 persons in Pune. One was my sister, and second was my wife, who had come a year before. But for them, I didn't know anybody. And in this last 6 years that I have been, 5.5 years, I have so many friends, and not just acquaintances. They are real friends. I know that when there is a need at some point of time for something, I can definitely go and give Pramod a call and tell Pramod, look, this is my problem. This is what I want some advice from you, or anybody else. I'm just picking up Pramod because I now know Pramod for the last 4 years. And that acquaintance, that friendship also I developed when I became a Toastmaster. This is a wonderful place to make friends. And, at the end of the day, we have relatives, we have our children, we have our spouse, but the value that friends add to our own personality is immense. And this is a place where you make great friends. Another thing which I feel how Toastmasters helped me is in terms of, like, I think again it came out in today's table topics, self-esteem, that confidence, that feeling that I can do, that courage. All of us have those butterflies in our stomach, when we all come up, and like Mohan also was just now mentioning. But as I said, this is a place where you come here to make mistakes. And you make mistakes, you get feedback, you get constructive feedback, you build upon it. You're slowly and gradually, your self-esteem, your confidence, your courage starts going up. You start feeling nice. I think the Dr. Mary would tell that, there's various, what is that, hormones. I think one of them is something, which makes you feel nice when you do something nice. At the end today, after, let's say, when I close this meeting, I am going to feel that much more nice that, look, today I came here and I conducted a Toastmasters meeting. It gives you that feel good factor. This place is a great place to relieve your stress. I think all of us, we start in the morning, we are worried about our schedules, we have to take a cab or we have to drive to office, there are presentations to be made. All those things disappear, vanish in thin air when you come in this meeting. And when okay, today we are in a virtual meeting. When it is an offline meeting, it is all the more better. But I think we are doing a wonderful job by even this online meeting. We are here, we are forgetting all our tensions. We are forgetting all those stresses that we have. all those commitments, all those things, we get a little freshened up. And that is very important for us as a human being, because we are living in a stressful world. And we need such occasions, we need such forums where we have a kind of a stress buster happening. And this place gives me that. I mean, I really look forward to a Toastmasters meeting, whether it is offline or online. When it is offline, gives me an opportunity. I get up, I shave, I would wear a nice shirt, polish my shoes, get into the car, I take a lift, or maybe I pick up one of my Toastmasters on the way. That whole journey is like a festival. That day when I go for a Toastmasters meeting, all my stresses are disappeared. So that is another way in which how Toastmasters helps us, to become a better human being. I think somewhere today I also heard somebody talking. One other, we in Toastmasters, we have these 4 values, right? Integrity, respect, service, and excellence. Out of these 4 values, and I'm sure Suzanne is here, she may want to throw some light. I think respect is the most important value. And Toastmasters helps us learn, tell us how to give respect. When you are giving as an evaluator, it teaches you modesty. It teaches you it sharpens your ability to listen to people. The very act of listening to somebody itself, is a way of showing respect. Many times we are only hearing things, and we are only hearing and waiting for an opportunity to react. Toastmasters helps us learn to listen. And when you start listening, you, rather than reacting, you start responding. And that is how you start showing respect. And then there are various ways in which you learn to show respect. And this is a very important quality and a very important attribute which was lacking in me. And I have found that over this last 5-6 years that I have been active in Toastmasters, I have learned to give respect to people, not just to outside, even to my family. I have 2 daughters and a wife, and I have teenage daughters, and sometimes you tend to forget that, when you're dealing with teenage daughters, you have to have a different way of talking to them, listening to them, understanding what they are trying to say, respecting their knowledge. They have studied, they have done well in their own lives, they have a certain experience. We have to learn to respect that. And this place has taught me to listen to people, to respect people. So these are a few things which I learned on the as a Toastmaster, which I thought made me a slightly better person than what I was 6 years back. So with this, let us move on to the next phase of our meeting, which is the evaluation section. So I'm going to call up the evaluator for the speech given by Catherine. And the evaluator is none other than Suzanne, who adds so much value to our club meetings, and we are so very thankful to you, Suzanne. So Suzanne, Toastmasters, Suzanne, when I asked her how has Toastmasters helped you, she said Toastmasters has helped me gain confidence to speak up, formulate my thoughts, structure my thoughts with clarity in her job as well as in the charity work that she does. And this has helped us greatly in improving her personal relationships. So without much ado, I would like to invite Toastmaster Suzanne on stage to give her evaluation of the wonderful speech given by our President, Catherine. Over to you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and especially Catherine. First, I'd like to congratulate you on using your time wisely. That was a lot of information in a very short window, and you succeeded. First, I'd like to share with you what I saw. I saw someone with great confidence because you were bold and beautiful, and that smile was from ear to ear. That relaxed your audience and allowed us to feel very warmly towards you because of it. Your facial expressions throughout your speech fit the message that you were sharing. What I heard from you was an extraordinary good vocal variety. We heard the clarity of the words that you used. You used up and down with the words. You gave us stronger volume for impact, and that's our vocal variety. You had a well-organized message. You were leading up to the success of the project and then concluding that it is still running. How interesting for us. You had strong word choices. I loved spheres of influence. That is not a phrase we hear very often, but it is very picturesque and told the message. I enjoyed the way you built up the suspense of where you were going to what this project was. In one caveat, you told us the date, you told us with whom, you told us how you got there, and the massive amount and you got there to the project. I would recommend to you, perhaps, think about mentioning that project a little earlier up front. Perhaps in a question, you were talking about juggling through pressure. So startup, have you ever had to juggle through pressure? Well, I did when I was about to work on this project about Girl Child Awards. That would lead us down the path of where you were going, and we would be with you immediately. You did maintain your audience connection, especially when you mentioned the Toastmasters, that you were able to gather the successes in this project because it helped you with your pitch, your collaboration, and that was very relatable to the audience. I would also like to recommend to you is don't apologize for sitting down. It's okay. If you think that I, as your evaluator, needed to know that, so I don't say, gee, Catherine, why didn't you stand up? Then do that privately to me. Don't detract from the beginning of your speech. Whisper that in my ear and I won't fault you for it because I know there's a reason. The only thing it did do is limit my visibility of your gestures. But I was so focused on your message that I'm going to rewatch this video and make sure that I didn't miss them while I was copiously taking notes. It's not your fault I didn't see them. It may be upon me, but I'll be giving you the second chance by doing that when I give you the written evaluation. One other recommendation I give you is just pauses. I know you had a limited amount of time, but if you can add a few momentary pauses after you say something so powerful, allow your audience to grasp it and go on. Phenomenal project, phenomenal speech. It was a privilege and an honor to be able to give you an evaluation. Well done, Catherine. My evaluation is probably longer than your speech, but well done, Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But just like Catherine's speech, we didn't realize that you have already completed 3 minutes plus, Susan. Thank you very much for a very comprehensive, very incisive, and again, a very encouraging evaluation of Catherine's speech. And I'm sure, Catherine, in the second part of this project, when you're going to pick up a few of these points and take care of them. So thank you very much, Suzanne, once again. And now let us hear from our role players. First of all, I must apologize. I didn't introduce one very important role player who has helped me, and that is our Sergeant at Arms, Rajat Gupta. So thank you, Rajat. Just for those of you who have forgotten, Rajat works with the oil company, Indian Oil Corporation in India. I think it is one of the top 5 companies in India. And Rajat, I very clearly remember that speech which you had given on electrical vehicles, I think just around the time when I had joined the club. And when I asked Rajat how it helped him in Toastmasters helped him, he was very clear. He said, Toastmasters have helped me to become an engaging host, a storyteller, an empathetic leader, and has improved my conversational skills with international audience. I think that's a very subtle and very important point that you have made, Rajat, and thank you very much. And again, apologies for not announcing your role at the beginning after you started the meeting. So now let's hear from our double role player, Vice President Education, Mohan. What kind how he's going to juggle between these two roles, I do not know, and what time he's got. So over to you, Mohan, to tell us about how we did in terms of our R's, and how we did with our English language.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, if you can see my screen, yeah, let me go through. So let me also give an evaluation, a comprehensive evaluation of both grammarian and accounter altogether. So Rajat, your crutch word is but. You are using the but. So the word but, right? Instead of using multiple times, one suggestion is sometimes use the word however. If you want to use but once, use it. Second time, try to give however. They both mean the same, but however sounds more formal. Since we are aspiring public speakers, alternate them. It's a quick tip for you. And rest, I think, all good. Then Catherine, I was trying to find out some or something. I could not find anything. I don't know how you managed it. Really, you inspired me. The one thing is this juggle, right? I think you can juggle with pressure is good. That's maybe a good appropriate word, but co-pressure, or maybe sometimes you need to, I don't see a variety of words for the same thing, right? Maybe you can keep this in mind. I don't see it as like a big blunder or something. Maybe something you should be mindful. Milind, I have been a Toastmaster of the day. So I know Toastmaster of the day, it's like he speaks for a long time. So several times you have to adapt your speech impromptu. So you have to recollect ideas. I understand that. The only point is maybe you have to be mindful that and is something is your crutch word. Just be mindful of that. The and repetitions, I totally understand. It's basically you're just trying to recollect certain ideas. I think it is just practice. I don't see anything big there. I'm not recognizing that person. Maybe I don't recognize that person. Sometimes I also tend to use this is plus being form. Instead, we can use a present tense form. So that's it. But overall, and he also used word of the day once. For a Toastmaster of the day, I think this is a very clean report. I should pat you back. Then Demary, I don't know. I was trying Demary, Susan. I could not find anything. I don't know what to write. No grammatical mistakes, no filler words. I don't know how do you manage. You should tell us some techniques. Maybe next time, maybe we will have some education session. How do you manage that? Even Galaramo, yeah, Memo Galaramo, right? His report is very clean. I don't have any recommendations for him. Maybe he did not speak as much as a team member or an evaluator speaker, but still a good job, Galaramo. Subhadra did not speak at all. Eunice, you spoke, but I did not find anything, alarmingly wrong. Maybe in the beginning, you just struggled to start, just the starting problem. Apart from that, it is not, your speech or your way of speaking is not that bad. I'm sure that you are not starting at scratch. Once you take this public speaking journey seriously, you will become an amazing speaker. I can sense those foundations with you. Runda, yeah, you used, even for you, the crutch word is and. Sometimes you're using long pauses, but this is again nothing, something a serious thing. It's basically you're just trying to recollect ideas, particularly in table topics. The advice I got from others, and I'm also sharing with you, is basically in the table topics, we need to practice them more. That way we can easily connect to the topic and the ideas flow from our mind and mouth as well. I think that is the only suggestion I have for you. Tried and tested is a very good usage. Then John, you spoke, you said you were a new speaker, but even you, there are no words, your grammar is fantastic. I don't see anything that is alarmingly wrong. Pramod, even account or grammar, it's a very clean report. I don't have any recommendation for you, Pramod. Mary, as usual, there's also very good report, no crutch words or and all good grammar usage. One good word I have seen is the solitary confinement. Instead of saying jail or solitary confinement, you have made it a conscious effort to use the right word. This is something, a good usage that we can use. Ritu, even though he was a bit skeptical to start the table topics, the way you were speaking, right? What I understand from my experience is you have all the foundations, both in terms of vocabulary or grammar or how to speak in a professional setup. You have all that in you. Why you were struggling is basically there was some repetition of words. The struggle is only because you don't have practice. You just have to start somewhere, ignore the bad comments, get the courage, do like 3-4 times table topics, you will get into a regular flow. So I'm sure you have all the foundations, just to get the courage, practice. That's it. And coming to the word usage, Milind has used collaborate once, Mary once, Randa used a couple of times, John used a couple of times, Mary used once. That's it, my report. As usual, it's a very great meeting with words, usages coming from different minds. It's a very enriching thing even for me. Thank you and voting. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vice President Education, for educating us with our English language and ahs and ums and so on and so forth. And I think this, I'm going to conclude my role as a Toastmaster of the day. As I said, I personally have benefited a lot by Toastmasters, not just in my professional journey, but also in my personal journey. And I urge each one of you to be cognizant of this, that how is this forum going to help me become a better person, and try to see that every meeting when you come, you try to learn a few facets of this more and more, so that, when you go back to your personal lives, you are able to start implementing all these things which I just now mentioned, of showing respect, learning, self-improvement, self-esteem, and so on and so forth. So after this, I'm going to hand over the control to a good friend of mine, our general evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Pramod, who says that he's a banker by profession and Toastmaster by passion. I think, he's also a passionate banker. I've been to his office a few times, and I know how passionate he is about his job also. So over to you, Pramod, to give us an overall view of, as a general evaluator, about the meeting. Thank you very much.
Very quickly, I didn't get my report as the timer.
Oh yeah, sorry, Jim.
It's going to be quick.
Yeah.
So great meeting, everyone. We all collaborated to make it a learning experience. Here are everyone's times. Catherine's speech was 3 minutes and 34 seconds. Moving on to table topics, John spoke for 1 minute and 25 seconds. Rajat spoke for 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Catherine for 1 minute and 18 seconds. Vrunda 1 minute and 34 seconds. Pramod 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Mohan 1 minute and 28 seconds. Mary 2 minutes and 34 seconds. Eunice 1 minute and 26 seconds. Ritu 1 minute and 47 seconds. And Susan's evaluation was 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Thank you.
Yeah, over to you, Pramod.
Thank you. Madam President, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow and future Toastmasters. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I attended 7 meetings in this month, 2 offline meetings and 5 online meetings. And I must say, this is the best meeting I have attended. So that is my greatest compliment. I really enjoyed all the sessions. Let me start with the Sergeant at Arms. He started the meeting in a professional manner, on time, and he pronounced the club mission statement, and he introduced the TMOD in an excellent way, and also set the ground rules for the meeting. Very crisp, clear, and he didn't talk about the theme also. That is something I appreciate. Whenever a Sergeant at Arms comes, I solely believe that theme is the sole authority of TMOD. Sometimes some Sergeant at Arms comes and they spill the beans before even the TMOD starts about this theme. And you are so professional, so good, and you so within the time. Congrats to you, Rajat. I have no recommendation for you as Sergeant at Arms. Our TMOD, you can see how effortlessly he had conducted the meeting. We are putting all the efforts and hard work just to conduct a meeting in an effortless way. This effortless comes with a lot of effort. I'm really impressed the way he conducted the meeting. So conversational style, effortless, he engaged everyone. The theme was really good. Toastmasters, we know, we all are here because we are getting some benefit out of Toastmasters, but it is very important to pronounce or state the benefits multiple times so that we will also be reinforced that we are spending our time for a worthy cause, or we are spending our time for our own improvement. For every speaker, for every role player, The interaction of Milind was so fruitful and reinforcing that we are doing the right thing in our life. Here in the morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, not 6 o'clock, and I arranged everything. So he reinforced and he made me believe that you are doing the right thing. So that is the success of this meeting. So we all have got that positive energy. We all have got reinforcement that we are doing something good and it is going to be good only in our life and we are not doing anything wrong. So that is the specific lesson I have learned from this particular session. Thank you, Milind. The audience engagement was superb. It is the next level. Normally in TMOD, there is a disconnect between audience and TMOD because the TMOD will be more grabbed in the theme and he will be keep on going describing about the theme and all. But in your case, you engage each and every participant, role play, speaker, and your comments after the speech was also well connected to what they have done. It is almost like you were linking the dots with all the Toastmasters as members. Thank you so much for exhibiting how a person can make a change by taking the role of TMO. Grammarian and accountant. Mohan, I am seeing this kind of report for the first time. You combine these roles. When you wore double hats, I expected you to present your accountant report first, then grammarian report second. But you used Excel. Maybe that is the advantage of a software engineer to have a logical thinking in a different level. So you combine these two things and presented the report in a flawless manner, seamless manner. I never felt that. Even I seriously think that these two roles should be combined in every meeting so that it gives a comprehensive picture about the these two roles are closely related. It is the extension of the other. So you presented your report in such a manner and it was in CRC. First you applauded the good usages or the flawless speakers, then you recommended with a little bit recommendations, and finally you ended up with a positive note. Crisp report, clear report, you didn't waste your time was worthy for all of us. The one recommendation is that whenever you are counting, please be mindful because I also used word of the day once, that was not counted. ETM, normally when we come up with codes as table topics, there is a disconnect because you might be very much interested in the code because you have selected this code from the people whom you admire or whom you think are the best. But here what happened is everybody connected with those topics. Even it was well aligned with the meeting theme. It was more of a self-improvement technique and each topic was worth thinking for all. Normally, when somebody speaks, he or she think about that topic only. But here, I am sure that everybody paid attention to the topics which you had given to all the participants and must have attempted a table topics in their mind. What if I attempt this topic? It would be different or not. So again, another way of engaging the entire participants through one single topics at various times, different topics. So kudos to you, and you specifically engage almost all the participants in this meeting. That is something really good. Thankfully, we had time, and you carefully selected. First, you selected people guests, then people with less minor roles, then with major roles, and finally, I had the audacity to raise my hands because I'm G, and you were very gracious enough to give me a topic also, and you engaged everybody. That's something that is the responsibility of a table topic master. We have to encourage our guests to experience, to experiment on the stage by delivering a speech. It will give them confidence, and you also encourage all the speakers after their speech. And kudos to you. Please keep on doing the same thing. I look forward to see you as TTM in the coming meetings also, and also participate in the table topics when you are a table topic master. Thank you so much. Appreciations. The evaluation, Suchan, I don't have any suggestion for you. You are a district champion of in evaluation contest. So giving any suggestion for you would be injustice to my capabilities as general evaluator. You did very well. As you rightly mentioned, your evaluation was longer than the speech of Catherine. Anyway, Catherine's speech spoke for 3 minutes, 43 seconds. You were 7 seconds less than what than her speech. It was wonderful. And you also commended the good things that Catherine used, especially the structure, vocal variety, and word choices. Normally, word choices, this evaluators, they tend to forget or they tend to ignore this area when it comes to evaluation. And I just want to add one thing. I really love the pacing and pauses of Catherine's speech. I believe that the beauty of every speech is the pacing and the pauses. Even in a Tamil song, I'll tell you the meaning of it. In the pauses, you will find meanings. In some speakers, when they pause, you will get some more meaning than a word is uttered. It was beautiful. I really wanted to comment that. That is one thing that you missed commenting on it. Apart from that, evaluation was perfect. It is a next level evaluation. I also want to be an evaluator like you one day. I'm sure that with the support and collaboration of all the Toastmaster members, you'll be able to do that one day. Timer, Guillermo, even though Milind forgot to introduce you or ask for your report, you chip in at the right moment and you did it. I'll be contacting you separately to understand how you did that timer cards without being visible on the screen. It's a technique. Maybe you can tell us, share us also. We can use it in other clubs as well. Thank you so much. I think I covered everybody in the report. I have not omitted anybody's report. Rajat? Yes. Done. That's all from my side as general evaluator. I really enjoyed the meeting. I'm sure that everybody must have enjoyed in this meeting. This is a perfect meeting, and in such meetings we should invite guests, and I'm sure that guest John must have taken a decision instantly by attending this meeting to join Toastmasters. I'm sure about that. Kudos to Milind and all other role players. Thank you, and back to the president for the closing remarks. Catherine.
A round of applause to our general evaluator. Thank you so much, DTM Promote. Guests, Toastmasters, I want to congratulate you on a very successfully run meeting. I want to thank our Toastmaster of the day, Milind Patwardhan, for that lesson on being a person, being a human before we can become professionals. So we have picked up so many lessons. I believe that every one of us has enjoyed this meeting. But I would like to thank our guests for coming. John, thank you for choosing our club. Jen, thank you for coming. Vrunda, thank you for coming. Eunice, thank you for coming. Subhadra, thank you for coming. And Isabel, thank you for coming. Please choose this Toastmasters Club because you will certainly grow. You will certainly grow. And with these Toastmasters and guests, I would like to thank each of us for showing up and being brave and giving our best. I'd like to adjourn this meeting. If there's any other business, we can discuss it after. But thank you for a well-run meeting. One of the best things I appreciate is being a part of Toastmasters for Professionals. Thank you very much.